Hello, welcome back to F1 Manager here in our third season, 2026, for our second episode and second race, in fact, because the first one only included the first one. If you've not watched that yet, I would highly suggest you watch that video before this one, because that was a result, and that's all I'll say. However, our projections for this race are a little bit more grim. China values medium speed and low speed coring, neither of which we particularly have. Top speed is also subpar. However, the 19th, 20th that it's predicting for us here, I don't think will be as bad as this suggests, because whilst it says cornering medium speed is crucial, cornering low speed is recommended, and top speed is recommended. Don't forget there's also DRS on that long straight and the main straight, which is our strength. And our top speed isn't that far off average, which is one of the recommended. Now, our low speed, medium speed, they're a bit further off the bars, so that's much more of a problem. But one of the things that's going against us, which is top speed, I don't think that's as bad as it's making out, just by the fact we are 15th. And I think the DRS is probably more important than that's saying. At the very least, it'll help us keep in touch with the people that we're losing ground on for the rest of those laps. I would suspect we have a pretty good Sector 3 when it comes to qualifying and the race. So keep an eye on that one. I also particularly like the fact it says biggest issue, none. What a rarity in life that is. We also have to deal with Japan, which has high speed cornering as its crucial, which we are good at, and Bahrain, which does have DRS effectiveness in its recommended, which again, as you know, we are superb at. The crucial thing for Japan and Bahrain though is we do get more car parts on the car by those two races. We just have to stick it out in China really. And Bahrain is also a sprint, let's not forget this year. First and foremost, China. So good news, qualifying here. The good news is qualifying here, they will do an actual flying lap. I think it is to do with the position of the start-finish line and your pit box. I think in the tracks where the start-finish line is after your pit box, it for some reason counts that little gap as lap one, effectively. So when it comes to actually doing your flying lap, it doesn't do it and comes back in. I think that's what's causing that, maybe, so I just have to be alert to those things. People have gotten away on our original flying lap here. I think Mick less hindered, and Maloney will at least be marginally drafted by that Williams, or other way around. Should have paused after Mick got across the line there. There we go. Mick does go faster. I did think Maloney got caught on that Ferrari, which Mick got past a lot easier. That being said, way off the pace. Okay, maybe we were more problematically off the pace here. Following Mick, I think, is probably the play here. I think Maloney will have more in this. I don't know if he has to negotiate. Actually, I don't know if that car that's directly ahead of them, they have to negotiate, or they're part of the pack on a flying lap now, using the wrong camera. I believe, by the way, I've got to the bottom of the ghosting issue. I think there's still a little bit of oddness with the shadow, like trailing shadows, but wow, they were weirdly spaced, but at least thankfully out of the way vehicles. But I'm fingers crossing, hoping that the actual proper ghosting issue is dealt with. I don't know if we're going to go faster here. Someone's got a yellow flag somewhere. Please be behind. It's over, whatever it is. Both drivers have done a slower Sector 1. That was Vesti and 11, who I think is an Alpine driver. They're not the one directly ahead of us, are they? That's Halger ahead, who has got 8th, actually. So there's a bit of discrepancy between the Alpine drivers, despite being basically the same rating. And Maloney also has thankfully been drafting Halger the entire way. You see him still there in the distance, particularly on that straight. I feel like we've closed in on him. With our excellent DRS, of course, we should get a lovely effect of being pulled along. But alas, Gasly's dragged himself out of the bottom 6, I think. That's the person who's evacuated. Hamilton having a problem. In fact, he's done. He's last. I dare say Fittipaldi looks done as well. Yeah, we feared it was going to be 0 to 0. It's going to be very volatile this start of the season, where obviously people's cars' strengths come into play. The AI's strengths obviously tend to be a little bit more muted because they don't do specialised parts, but each car typically has a slightly better strength, just naturally of which parts they've developed more over the course of the campaign so far, and their expertise knowledge. But straight to the race. Interesting strategies. I can already see that's not optimised. That's what it has as basic. I immediately move this one lap to the left, and it's down by a second. Good work. Game. I'll pull him in earlier just because no idea why this wouldn't suggest basically the same strategy for Mick. You can see the difference in tyre wear. On the basis that we're going to struggle here, we might get lapped. I'll put that at that end. Yeah. Same strategy is the best for both of them. I don't know if they're coming in the same lap according to this. They are, but we'll have to make that work. I suspect Zane will get something off the start here. Can't take a lot out of the fuel either. Well, that'll do us. Prepare for some early pain here.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. Well, they certainly appear calm and composed heading into this race.
This marks their 50th start in Formula One. Can they celebrate that milestone with a strong finish?
But just what will happen here, your guess is as good as mine. It's almost time for the Chinese Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
I always forget about that camera angle change. And apologies for Zane Maloney. I should have worked out it was his 50th because obviously 2 seasons of 24 plus 2 races is 50. I should have realised it was his 50th race. I apologise that the car's terrible here. He goes from the podium last race. Spoilers if you haven't watched that yet, but I did tell you to. It's actually surprisingly Mick that's gone forwards here, and he's already on the outside of... No, he isn't. So I'm about to say, oh, there's still a little bit of an issue, but he's on the outside of... He was on the outside of Drogovic, and now he's back down to 18th. I don't like that. Only gets Vesti back, though. Lap 2, Mick gets on the inside of his former teammate Magnussen. Neither of them in a Haas course anymore, but old friends reunited briefly as he gets on the back of the Aston Martin immediately. Blimey, Mick. I don't know what he did to Magnussen there, but absolutely created himself a pocket of space to launch himself at Drogovic ahead. That's Drogovic there. Look at this gap before the corner. The drive he gets out of there is insane. Can't see him, but there we go. Like I say, he's going to have DRS on Drogovic now. And the excellent DRS in full force there. Obviously, hard tyres on that car. It's not going to help them right now. But, I mean, that was a really good move on Drogovic. Round he goes. I mean, it's not the best angle. Neither is that. It's fun to see it in the back. I have to say, the Haas Toyota car does still catch me off guard every now and then when I see it. From directly to the front, I just see Toyota on its back wing. It's got Haas on the side, but just seeing that Toyota branding is still surreal to me. Audi's doing all right in 9 and 10. No, I didn't even notice that Porsche and the other house is up in 7th. Not bad from them. So Hulkenberg falling off Albon does give Mick an opportunity here. I think Mick will have to pit first, even though... So already drafting Hulkenberg. DRS opens. Mick moves to the inside. Mick moves to the outside. Might not work, Mick, but... Oh, no, never mind, it does. Hard running, Hulkenberg. Can you get the drive to get into the detection point? I think he might have, you know. He has. Alex is indeed the car in front. Maloney got Magnussen, I think, and I missed that highlight. But now he's on the back of these 2 hard runners. I think Alex is on a hard tyre as well. I don't know if one stop is viable, or if they're just bashing the hard out first. A lot of people on it, 7, not an insignificant amount of drivers. I didn't actually see what the final qualification was. There's a crash. I was waiting to bring you back when Mick got Tsunoda, but he never did. I was going to say, he's got one RB, now he's after the other. Meanwhile, Maloney's done all of them and got directly behind him again. So 13th, 14th as things stand. It looks like actually Mick and Albon have had a bit of back and forth until Maloney joined the party. Now Leclerc's obviously part of this, and he's probably out because he's not moving. Says he's 19th now, but that's with Porsche, I suspect. Oh, has he pitted actually? No, he was on hards already, I think. Oh, sorry, Sargent, of course, yeah, in the Audi. I told you I'm going to get them mixed up with the Asses quite a lot. Oh, he actually got going again. Doesn't sound healthy. There we go. He's moving. Tyres seem alright considering, but there's clearly aerodynamic damage anyway. Sargent apparently at fault for that. It really looked like Leclerc smashed into him, but alright. I have to say, I think this lap, Tsunoda does seem a smidge vulnerable. Half a second behind him, both of our cars hunting him. The difference here is though, that is a soft-running vehicle. Oh, we do struggle around that corner in comparison. But both our vehicles will have an attack run probably here. The car behind is our teammate. So he goes for the inside, then the outside, does the same switcheroo he did to Hulkenberg. And is he going to make the move work? Yes. Problem is, Tsunoda will have DRS back now, but he'll have to think about Maloney. See if he can deploy away here, Mick. It's fine, don't bother. Let him go up the inside, and yep, that couldn't have been easier if he tried. There's another incident. They've got going again. I thought they might be out, but... Oh wait, this is the overtake. I don't care about that. This is what I want to see. Nico Hulkenberg, 19th again, weirdly. Position-wise, so he just goes around the outside, clips the... Albon, it has to be, surely. And they both go flying. That's Hulkenberg's fault, so we'll see what happens. One thing I did notice, by the way, and I didn't notice in the first race, mixed maximum objective is 18th. Maloney's is 16th. And I don't really know what the discrepancy is there, other than where they finished. or maybe their overall rating at the start of the season may be a factor. Hulkenberg did get the penalty, thankfully. May find Sonoda. And crucially, how's he picked up underfloor damage? It's like Porsche's damage is transferred to Mick. Oh, Sargent. Oh, I suppose no, Sargent wasn't it that has damage. But he's on the back of Porsche now, with underfloor. I don't know what's happened there. Is it ghost underfloor damage? When we did cut in, it did seem like Mick was off the track, like being pushed off the track by Sonoda. I've missed what did that damage. Our engine quality isn't great right now, but the parts we're going to put on will help that. Side pods, I think, is the thing that helps with that the most. So both drivers hunting, but Sonoda does still have DRS on Mick before this happens. Give that a cheeky deploy, although the DRS effect that we have is powerful, and that is Zane through Sonoda as well. Just give Mick a little bit of momentum out there as Porsche will hunt him back again, but we get into Sargent's DRS now. I might just try and bring that engine temperature down a bit, if I can. Oh, what I wanted to happen, Maloney gets through Mick and Sargent. This is the second of those two. On the inside, Mick in this lap, Maloney in next. Ongoing new tyres, 2.4, not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Sonoda came in earlier and got an undercut, I believe. He's gone back, he's gone to another soft, actually. Maloney's turn. Sargent follows suit as we have a delay. I don't know what for, but we have a delay. Although Sargent has a worse one, I think. I think Sargent has an even worse delay. It's getting the rear right off, isn't it? Yeah. But I think Sargent has an even worse delay because he's still in there. Did he have to fix his front wing or something? Is that what the damage was? Did he have to fix that at the same time? And he comes up behind Hulkenberg, who hasn't pitted. So that bodes well. It's taken a while, weirdly, for these tyres to get up to temperature. He's got Vesti for company in the process. They just get a little bit of push in. As Maloney gets through Hulkenberg, it should be candy, baby. Not even in the DRS zone. Fresh mediums, old hards. Is that before the main straight? Oh, no. Okay. Plenty before the main straight. Enough time for him to get into one of their DRSs. Should be fine. So I think he takes both RBs. Oh, he's already got Albon at this point. DRS, baby! Not bad, you know. I think, yeah, Albon's still on his old hards. Mick got through Hulkenberg as well. And are Gasly and Leclerc on old hards still? No, Gasly's on new hards. Leclerc's on old hards. Sonoda's got back ahead, but doing the same thing, essentially, just on a soft, but not a medium. Lock up turn 6. He's taking a weird route to get back on it, but I mean, I don't understand if you hurt your underfloor here, but I mean, that's slightly weird, but can't just go all the way around and then comes in actually in front of people. I'll see how much damage that's done. Some of they actually seem to be better. What's happened there? They should be fine. Maloney's job here has been largely just vaguely holding on to Gasly, who's on a hard tyre. Sort of stayed in DRS, but has not had any pace to actually get past him, annoyingly, which isn't helping driver confidence, because at least if they're going backwards and forwards, they get that confidence. Mick is being overtaken by people who have pitted. Well, Leclerc was on soft, so they're burned out already. Not far off needing to pit, though. Still not quite anywhere near being lapped, but 20 laps to go. It's a distinct possibility. Could have burned these a little bit harder, I think. Bring Maloney in early for a second stop. Comes out in a nice pocket between both RBs, actually. I mean, it'd be great if they'd actually told me to pit Mick there, but... Alright, so Piastri has lapped. So what I want to do now is use him to get to 18th, which is obviously where the payout comes with. Maloney, I don't know what the difference is with Maloney here. He's flying. I think he's got caught in better trains than he is driving away. I think it was the fact that I didn't get warned of his pit stop. His optimal lap, it didn't come up, it didn't interrupt me. And I missed it. Therefore, his tyres went too low and he lost a lot of time. I think that's probably what's happened there, because he's so far off.
Car behind Sonoda, 2 seconds.
That was weird. It was like Slade waited for me to finish there. Yeah, nobody ahead is actually kind of in a spot of bother. Vesti's on 64, there's 11 laps. Hauger's on 67, there's 11 laps. And Albon's on a soft, and there's 11 laps. So I don't know how they'll pan out over the rest of this, but obviously being lapped, I could follow Piastri through if I can. A little bit of tyre wear to go. We'll just burn them through this section. Try and make sure we stay in DRS of Piastri, ideally. But Hauger is going faster. The hope is we're in DRS range. I'm sorry, what? Maloney's overtaken Bottas, who is now on a hard. Maloney's in 7th. I don't know how, but he's in 7th. I don't know what's happening down there. I think that's as far as he's going to get. But Mick's not getting any closer. I think the underfloor damage has hurt Mick as well. He's not getting closer to Hauger. So that's Piastri through. Mick's across the line shortly, having not caught Hauger, and he won't even get the payout for us. That's not great. I did worry about actually giving him the 18th, giving him the 18th objective, but I mean, Maloney smashed his 16th objective. I don't really know how. I don't really know how Porsche has a broken engine bar either in race 2. Albon's tyres did get sub 30. I did wonder about this. It's a very creditable 7th. I don't fully know how he's got away with it, but he has. As far as I'm concerned, that's witchcraft. He's down in the championship, but still points. We actually don't lose position, surprisingly. Mercedes do get points and go 5th. No good pit stops at all. Yeah, we only get half the payout, but hey, suspension simulator improved. Bunch of manufacturing. Oh, this is better. Now it's one of your own that's going to be benefited by this. Yeah, let's invest more in Barnard. 68 raid and he's in F3. Let's not forget. Our highest affiliate's a 70-71 raid and they're in F2. Alright, so we just team up to level 4 as well. Oh, 1st of April. I should have been paying attention to money. I need to make sure I need to keep an eye on that in May. I think the initial one went in January, but I don't know if the ones since have. So I need to keep an eye on that when that ticks over to May, which we won't do in this episode. Look at that timing, by the way. Mick has had improvements, as has Zane in weaker sections of his portfolio. Love it when there's a reasonable size one in the affiliate driver. Miles will let scouts do something. Suzuka targets. Oh, actually, it's too late to change this now. I can obviously put any new parts that are available to us once we get to in there, but now I can't go back and see what the performance rating would be. I'm back to 18th for Zane, actually, oddly. Well, Mick's gone wide on his flying up. That's not going to help. Which brings me neatly onto the point I was going to make. Free Patches 3, which was dry. There was moderate rain on the Friday, but Free Patches 3 was dry. Popped on a set of soft tyres at the very end, as I always do, just for a run where everyone gets to use their full capacity. Neutral and everything you see on screen right now. So 3-dot push, neutral conserve, neutral ERS. I don't push like this on a qualifying lap. Mick was 17th, Zane Maloney was 1st. I suspect the truth is somewhere in between those two extremes, but I'm going to really, I mean, Mick's ruined this lap anyway, but I'm really going to need that Alpine to get out of the way. I suspect Zane's lap is going to be a little bit more representative of what we're capable of here, but 129.5 from Zane. Mick went off the track. Mick did purple 2nd and 3rd. I'm going to have to probably look at that lap and see what happened. I suspect somebody got in the way of Zane. Right, so yeah, the rest of that session put that into perspective quite quickly. Track evolution, I am slightly worried about, so I will send Mick out. There's also plenty of people further down this list that I'm worried. Hulkenberg going 7th just confirms my fears there. Hamilton 21st. Don't know what's going on there. Sargent and Gasly. The Audis have been decent. Drogovic and the Aston. Good car. I don't know what's... Sainz in the Red Bull 12th. There's plenty of people behind Mick that I'm worried about, and if Hulkenberg can go 7th, Porsche I think is rated better than him in the same way Maloney's better than Mick. Porsche can definitely get ahead of Mick as well. There's a lot of people behind him. I've just noticed the gap between Albon and Tsunoda as well. There's a lot of people behind him that I'm worried about. The only people I feel confident are definitely going to be behind are probably the Alpines and the Williamses. It's not a huge gap to the Audi, Sargent 1.5. So let's get going, Zane, as his tyres just tip into the operating window. Temperature-wise, good work, Zane. And me for timing that. But I'm going to need you... I think Hamilton broke his car in Australia and they're using those broken engine parts effectively. I think that's what's going on with Hamilton. That's why he's terrible compared to everyone else. Because obviously right now, the overarching quality of all the aerodynamic parts have been stifled by the new regulations. Everything's like 50-60% down on what it was the year before. Therefore, the raw engine characteristics are going to be more potent, and therefore a broken engine is going to hurt a vehicle more. And I think that's what's happening with Hamilton. Mick is going faster. Mick is going faster. He was already fast. Well, 4 people have already taken the checker flag, and that is Hamilton included, and Sargent for that matter. Gasly, I can't see on track, so I'm going to guess he's inside someone, or someone's inside him. There's a Ferrari dot that looks suspiciously like it has somebody underneath them. No, he wasn't there. He's in this pack of Red Bull. But Mick, no, Zane first. Zane crossing the line first. Wow, that's 3rd. Okay. Only goes to 13th, surprisingly. He's ahead of Bottas and there's 5 people definitely behind him, so that feels a lot more comfortable, considering that Hauger and Vesti are both on track. And in fact, Tsunoda's out. Did I hear someone just crash there? No, I think they're fine. Well now, I should say, by the way, I have put the new suspension and the new front wing on, which I can show you the comparison for at least, and I told you by the time we got to race day, we'd have 3 front wings. So the old version, much worse low speed, but better high speed. We actually lose a little bit in tyre preservation and high speed with the new front wing, but we gain a lot in dirty air tolerance and low speed specifically. And suspension wise, in comparison to the old one, remember this is all inverted, we lose a little bit in cornering across the board, we gain a bit in top speed, but we gain a boatload in tyre preservation. 18% better tyre preservation on the new suspension, which of course is time over the course of the race. Doesn't help us in qualifying, but helps us in the race. Speaking of, I need to put all sets of tyres on now. I love Slade here. counting down at the start of every session. He does it every time. He's got 2 different lines as well. One goes from 5. People coming out just to annoy us. This time, Mick's the one that loses out. 127.7 for Maloney is seemingly bonkers. Yep, that's on pace with the Ferrari. Oh, God. Used tyres, just a reminder. Used tyres. Everyone's tyre wear is going to be up, of course, because of the regulations as well. Tyre preservation, as you saw, a big factor of suspension specifically, but other car parts do help that. This is going to make life easier. 2 people have done a crash without setting a time as somebody moves out of the way. Was that our vehicle moving out of the way? No. Oh, dear. That's not great. That's the Aston's fault. Was it a Red Bull moving out of the way? I think it was a Red Bull. These look better now. Only a yellow flag, though, so they're not actually out, but I don't know. I mean, they're going out again, even though they don't have a functioning vehicle. I'm sending them a little bit early because, for some reason, drivers are a smidge scattered. We'll focus on Mick because he's the least likely to get through. Lenny's probably fine. Everyone's a little bit scattered right now, and I don't really know what's going on in terms of where they're deciding to come out. But Hulkenberg just came out, so I am going to make sure we get past him, and then it's a Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari in front of those 3. So they're drivers that will drive away from us if we get behind them. That's Hulkenberg dealt with. I think Mick's a little close to Zane, actually, which could be a slight issue, or a slight help, depending on the situation. We don't catch the Ferrari, crucially. Oh, do we catch the Ferrari, actually? No, I think we're okay there. I think we catch the Ferrari only for it to drag us along the main straight. It's good for Zane. Helps if I push Mick's fuel. Fingers crossed that was all right. It was only 1 corner. Bear in mind, he's only going to get through 3 drivers here. Although one is Sainz who will improve, so 4 drivers really is ahead of Hulkenberg, I think, will be the key here. Porsche's gone ahead of Maloney, so maybe it was right to send Maloney out. Because I think there's more in Leclerc, and I think there's more in Bottas. Definitely more in Sainz, of course. He's gone slower in the first sector, because of course he has. Brand new tyres, got a slipstream from the Ferrari. Make it make sense! There goes Leclerc into 3rd. So Zane's hunting Max then by process of elimination. Hauke's already done, Russell and Djokovic are already done, Bottas is already done, so actually if Mick gets ahead of Bottas, this is absolutely fine. Sainz is done. Sainz doesn't improve. That is a shock. Which means actually Maloney's probably fine. Maloney's middle sector didn't actually show up, he didn't go faster. Mick does in fact get ahead of Bottas, and that is Mick, essentially safe. Both Hulkenberg and Gasly could actually usurp him. Hulkenberg doesn't. He is safe. I did say the truth would be somewhere between the 2 extremes, and 7th and 9th. Seems about right. About 18 different people came out, which is, I know, impossible in Q3, and got in our way. This entire pack here, the only consolation is overtaking them on our flying lap. It's put them all next to each other and inside each other. So, fingers crossed, they ruin each other's laps. 128.0 is terrible. But it came true. 5th and 8th as things stand. See, once again, there's a pack coming out a little early, so I'm going to get in that lot. Yeah, Zane might be inside Verstappen a little bit here. That might be dirty air regioning. That could be a problem. That wasn't an out lap. I think he'll get to the checkered flag, but he came out late. But Zane's the one that needs improvement here, dramatically so. I think everyone will improve because I think everyone got in each other's way and used tyres. Apart from maybe Piastri and or Leclerc, who seem to have done comparable time. How are you going slower, dirty air, I'm guessing is the problem here. How are you going slower, though? How's Mick gone slower? These are brand new tyres, guys. Brand new tyres. Don't know why, but the audio sounds better. If you somehow do a slower lap on 20% better tyres, it might break my brain. Maloney has gone faster in the 2nd sector, which is probably where all of the blockages actually happened, to be fair. Maloney following Verstappen across the line, who is 10th and last as things stand. I suspect that won't state the case. No, he's on provisional pole. Maloney provisional 4th. Mick is behind and stays provisional 7th because Porsche goes... I'm confused. I think he went ahead of Porsche and then behind Porsche as Porsche goes 4th. Oh, maybe that's why Mick had a problem, because he was in the dirty air of Porsche. I didn't see that one. I couldn't see him underneath the dot. I know Albon's across the line, so we'll go on board here and pay attention to what he's doing. I think he's the last one to do a lap. Might just got caught on that McLaren at the end of his lap. But I think everyone else is done as far as I'm aware, so this is the last one to matter. He goes 8th. We line up, not side by side actually, because I think it'll be different rows, yes. Maloney on row 3, Mick on row 4, but 6th and 7th. From Q3 to Q1 to Q3 again. It's a wild ride at the start of Season 3. Interesting split of strategies. They're saying Maloney can do a 1-stop, Mick should really go for an aggressive 2-stop. According to this, the 2-stops aren't much faster. Oh, of course, they don't have soft tyres anymore. That's probably why they're suggesting that. Yeah, they don't have the tyres. I mean, obviously, I'm going to adjust this because that is a baffling... immediately, bring it back 0.1 at least. Although that actually goes backwards, but bear in mind I need some tyre to burn at the start. Whereas mixed tyre wear isn't as good to begin with. I presume he's unable to do a one-stop at all to any level of... Yeah, okay, so 2 is better for him. Is it better to do this? If we're going to two-stop Mick, that's the way to do it.
The anticipation is really building here. The fans in attendance are absolutely buzzing with excitement. Many people here and at home are wondering what the Haas driver can do.
That's a solid position starting in P4 today, but they're going to need a perfect strategy to stay up there.
Here we go. It's time to go racing. Get ready. It's the Japanese Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Apologies to Zane Maloney there. I do need to sort you out there. Pre-race VT, arguably actually focusing on the correct person for a change. Yesterday's best qualifier in comparison to their car, Théo Pourchaire, started 4th, is 3rd. Stroll's been pushed off the track and taken underfloor damage. That's a problem here at Japan, of course, in general. That's not the spot where it happens usually, but this is one of the tracks that does have phantom underfloor damage in places. Spain's the other. Although we had it in last race as well, so I didn't know it was a thing in China. I certainly didn't get the replay for it. But we've held firm on the opening lap so far. 6th and 7th we remain. Besides have a penalty because he's 16th. I swear he started 12th. Mick, interestingly, feisty. Well, to be fair, he's on aggressive strategy, so maybe he should be let through at some point. Because he's got to recover a pit stop, which Zane doesn't. But on lap 2, they find themselves inside Lance Stroll. Let's see if we can get through him. No DRS on 130R, but there is on the main straight, as it kind of looked like Zane is literally pushing Lance along there. See what Helicam shows there. I think that proves the point for Hamilton. DRS gets us through, but he's going to come off those tyres now. We'll call his tyres off. We'll call both sets of tyres off, but I'll get Mick to push again. Or I could keep him on push and stick him on driving clean air, because that is the larger problem. Oh, Hamilton's mechanical fault's progressing quickly. It's gone from light to medium in 3 laps. There goes Mick on the inside of Lance Stroll, who also does have DRS. Wait, no, sorry, we're still focused on Maloney, on Pourchaire, that is. He has come back to 4th. But I believe he still had DRS on Leclerc, so that shows the power of our DRS there. I was wondering if Mick was going to do a surprise lunge on Lance Stroll, but no. Round spoon, we stare at the Oracle branding on the back of that Red Bull. I don't know which corners count as high-speed corners, which is obviously our forte, this one. Certainly. Stroll is more than a second off Maloney here. The chicane isn't our strength, but the detection point, I believe, for the straight is before, which means Mick is too far away, I think. All right, come off driving clean air and just go for it, mate. You've got it. You've got the temperatures under control again. Get him. Dropped Albon behind as well for good measure. Pourchaire might just have enough to hold on to Leclerc, but Maloney's giving him a go. Is it a lunge? There is a lunge at the hairpin. Slightly janky. He's got him. I mean, not for long, because you have to put yourself in front, and you're not going to drive away from him anytime soon. Completely different angle. Appreciated. My only concern is that's going to put Lance Stroll in DRS range again. That's back to 4th for Zane. He was never there in the first place. But Mick now. Come on, mate. Let's make a move. Hang on, is he actually going to get Stroll before the chicane? No, he's going to get him in the chicane. So one way to do it, Mick. One way to do it. No one's got DRS on Zane. Oh, well, I've come back in on Mick overtaking Théo Pourchaire there. I thought we'd have half a lap before that was a problem, because it was the first lap in which Théo had dropped out of a second on Zane. So we better watch that one back.
It's certainly inviting.
Oh, that's actually quite late for that corner. Normally that move really happens at the start of that. But he did it in the middle of the apex. It's Mick to 5th. And now, in theory, I mean, he's not really going to drive away, is he? But in theory, he drives away. I quite like this situation because... no, he's just dropped outside of a second briefly. But, oh no, he's back in. Kind of struggles over the rest of the lap, but has enough to stay in DRS range, does Théo. I'm not going to say the words because as soon as I will, he will overtake. Yeah, it gets to about 2 tenths at the end of that straight, and then over the rest of it, we build it up to 5, 6, 7 sometimes. It's giving Maloney a really nice buffer, realistically. Even though this is Mick pushing, depressingly. Pelt the tyres, mate. Pelt the tyres. You're actually doing better than the tyre prediction. Pourchaire's in. Wait, was Pourchaire? What tyre was Pourchaire on? A lot of people started on softs, I now realise, but he must have been... Pourchaire must have been on a soft. No way a medium runner's coming off those tyres now. An AI medium runner. Halger went off the track, that's why his hards are burned. Not looking after them at all. I suspect, looking at the top of that list, Piastri, Verstappen, definitely one-stopping. Don't know if Leclerc and Stroll are. They're only slightly worse, but I suspect they will be. Albon I don't think is one-stopping based on that 50%. So I'm not worried about undercutting Mick because he's got to do this in-lap. Deploy from here, Mick. Don't bother even fighting with Stroll. Just drive away from him. Don't let him cost you on your in-lap. All right, Indy come pal. 4 seconds out of Stroll. Good time to recover fuel for Maloney. Essentially, we need to recover fuel on 50% of all laps. I feel like, or slightly less than this one because it was an odd number that we took out. It comes back out ahead of Porsche. Behind Hauger, who's hard to going to give up. But he comes out ahead of Porsche, doesn't lose the place, doesn't get undercut. Ricardo, I think, has undercut both. Yeah, he has. Oh, he pitted way early, did Ricardo, 88%. He must have pitted like 2 laps ago. Yeah, so we got to deal with Hauger's hard tyres, which hopefully might help hold up Porsche if he doesn't pit this lap. Up the inside, lovely. Now drive away. I'd say young Mick could be about 26, 27 in the game now. But he's put a second into Hauger, at least, which is a second necessary. Of course, he's pushing this stop as well. 2 seconds, Hauger, and he does pit, in fact. Now, Mick is a second and a bit behind Ricardo. I don't know if he can catch that, but he's crucially also now 3.6 ahead of Porsche. I think we're just going to have to give up Ricardo because I don't think he's going to catch him now. Crucial that we get some fuel back at this stage, really. I'll keep an eye on the gaps, but Maloney's turn to pit soon. Sainz has joined the back of Porsche and has driven through Porsche, inching closer to Mick. What tyre is Sainz on? He's on a medium as well. I'm surprised he's not gaining quicker. He's got in DRS range. Onto the hard zone. You've got enough medium tyres to absolutely slam them for the in-lap. Really? Actually, if Sainz gets past Mick here, that would be really beneficial for him. Long term. But he doesn't. Good pit stop for Zay Maloney. Mick did get into DRS range of Ricardo, but he is fighting Sainz. Mick comes out behind Russell and Leclerc, who have stopped. But actually, no, yeah, Leclerc was behind him, wasn't he? It's been undercut by Leclerc. All right, so Sainz gets Mick. That's good news for Mick because I think he can use him as a... And if there's an incident now, then Mick's in a really good spot. No, Sainz already had... Stroll already had damage. Oh, look who it is. Lewis! Are you all right, mate? Is everything okay there? Don't need to recover that anymore, do we? You've just come in. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I pit Mick at this stage? If this VSC lasts until he gets all the way around, why wouldn't I pit him? I don't really know what's going on with Mick and Sainz because they've detached from each other as a result of this VSC coming out. But I didn't watch the highlight for Hamilton going off, but I suspect it's the same accident we've seen here time and time again, based on where it was, the corner before the bridge. I forget what they're called. I always want to call them Degners, but that's at Monza. Still got a VSC, so take this opportunity, my friend. It's an opportunity, crucially, that Sainz, Ricciardo and Porsche haven't taken. Mick will come back out directly behind Maloney, which I think in this situation, if you ever get into the case of actually being next to each other, don't fight him. You got screwed over with VSC or full safety car in Australia. This time it's coming back to you. Maybe deploy to get into the DRS range of cars ahead, but otherwise, because he's going to have a very, very hungry Hulkenberg behind. Otherwise, Hamilton's car was a little bit broken anyway, wasn't it? It'd gone to medium warning. Mick's already dropped Hulkenberg in half a lap. Tyres are up to temperature. Both drivers got a healthy 1.5 second gap to the drivers in front of them, which kind of keeps them out of any dirty air territory. I'll do is for deployment. Mick's still got fuel to get, so I was kind of hoping he'd get in a DRS. That would help him. Alas. Maloney's fighting. No, Maloney's full Bottas. Bit late to that one. DRS. DRS main straight. DRS main straight. Simple, straightforward. Power's passed. Already ahead before we take the corner. Can't ask for more efficient than that, really. Mick now does the same, having recovered fuel for a little bit. And crucially, those people that didn't pit under the safety car, VSC are now pitting. Ricciardo's come out 14th. Maloney's in Russell's DRS. He's Tsunoda, Gasly, Porsche definitely have to stop again. This might be the move on Russell. No, because he's moved twice under braking there. That's not allowed. I may have to deploy. Stroll's caught up. He's on hard tyres. 1.4 seconds faster that lap. I'll get both drivers to deploy here. One to get Maloney through Russell and the other to get Mick into Russell. We're showing Gasly now pit, which puts our drivers now 6th and 8th because Maloney has got Russell. I somehow blanked on that. I'm looking at Schumacher. That'll be why. Straightforward then. Straightforward. Yep, thank you very much. So if Mick deploys, he can probably get into Russell's DRS. Or just get past him there. That's one way to do it. Christ on a bike. Okay. Mick always loves doing those bizarre random overtakes, doesn't he? I mean, great angle. Mick's done an overtaking spoon. That's not where you overtake. All right, Mick, calm down. I'm obviously going to need to deploy. Sonoda's now in the pits. That takes us 5th and 6th. But I'm just going to try and get outside of that second with my driver there. There we go. That's a yellow flag. That's just a yellow flag. That looks like a +0. It's coming into the pits. It was Fittipaldi. Is there someone going into the back of him, or has he just gone straight on? Oh, that looked like it did damage, even though it hasn't done damage to the actual front wing. Okay, so that's straightforward. No fuss, thankfully. Russell just outside of a second on Mick. Crucial. Didn't realise Maloney was still deploying. That's my bad. In fact, if we do the opposite, that might help Mick get into his DRS. Or it will allow Russell to go back through again. Well, it has technically got Mick back into his DRS because it's also got Russell into his DRS. They've suddenly just gone for it. There was a 4-second gap a moment ago. Maloney fends off. Maloney's actually struggling to put tyre temperature into the tyres. This, as things stand, is a comfortable points finish at least. Yeah, Russell clearly went for it, by the way. He's dropped right off immediately as soon as Zane's done a smidge of push. Strolls through him as well now. Has his tyres... Oh, Russell's tyres have completely gone, 25%. Russell has to pit now, yeah, surely. Problem is that's left Mick with Ricciardo, who has caught up. I presume they're on like new mediums or new... Yeah, they're new mediums. I do need to get this last bit of fuel back with, which I'll take by sacrificing Mick to Ricciardo and then being in his DRS. That hasn't happened. That should definitely do it though. Bottas has a puncher, probably from taking tyres too long. 4th currently and 7th. 7 laps to go. Stroll hasn't pitted again. He's one stopping. Interesting. It is interesting that 5 of the top 6 are on a one-stop strategy. Ricciardo's the only one that didn't do that. And actually, he's through Maloney now. He's genuinely really struggling to keep tyre temperature in his tyres. Wait, did Daniel Ricciardo do that before the main straight? He's definitely going for it on these mediums. They are new mediums. Oh, Sainz. Is Sainz on fresh tyres? He's going to catch Mick, isn't he? Yeah. Didn't realise Mick was still pushing his tyres. Sainz gets him easily as I thought he would. I don't know if Maloney's actually fine to push these to the end a little bit, just because it's the only way he seems to keep tyre temperature in his tyres. Yeah, Sainz just sidles through there. 6th and 8th, I think, is our end point. Completely didn't notice that Maloney was overtaking Leclerc there. 26% hards, that'll be why. DRS, that's Maloney up to 5th again. He's got ERS to burn as well, for good measure. I don't really feel that Leclerc's probably going to lose 5 seconds here to get Mick in range, considering his tyres aren't great either. Strange that Stroll didn't really catch Leclerc there at all, despite the tyre situation. 5th for Maloney. Yeah, didn't really lose any more time to Mick and Stroll, did Leclerc, for whatever reason. 4.6 the total net by the end of that lap, but it was still only like 5.5 at the start of it. Zane up a place, Mick down a place. He was always going to struggle with the tyre wear here, I think. Ricciardo and Sainz come through the pack. Max wasn't pole, actually. Didn't know that. That result takes Zane down a place as Max Verstappen comes through the pack into 3rd. And Stroll is 2nd in the championship, blimey. But Mick up 2 places to 7th. Charles Leclerc's on the board. Charles Leclerc did score in the first 2 races. Charles Leclerc's up to 8th with 8 points. And then joins 2 others who are already on 8 points as well. Pierre with another point, Théo Pourchaire with 2 points. His first 2 points, surprisingly, just quite good races, seemingly. Gets them 2 points, which I think might be Haas's first 2 points. I thought they were doing all right. Audi up to 6 points, though, thanks to Pierre. Haas now not pointless. Only Alpine and Williams remain pointless, and I fear that may remain the case. Ferrari do get us. I think once Mercedes sort themselves out, it's going to be a 5-way fight there. I say 5-way fight, I mean 3-way fight for 3rd. Once again, Mick does not achieve his contract bonus, so it's full money. Minor technical changes. What do we want to hurt the most? Oh, let's hurt cooling. Our engine cooling is bad already. And it's easy to recover tyre. I have 1 side pod for Zane's car here, which does obviously split the... You know I said side pod is where engine cooling lied mostly. Mick Schumacher, who doesn't have the new side pod, 22nd. Zane, who does have the side pod, 3rd. Good lord. Also has a marginal gain to top speed that, so puts him basically on the borderline. And for Bahrain, does leave us exactly 13th. Yes, different outfit, different day. I ran into a problem with Bahrain. It kept crashing. After a while and really sort of looking at the error messages I was getting, it appears that it was an error with Unreal Engine itself trying to load something, like a model size was too big or something weird like that. So I don't think it's an issue that I could have possibly fixed other than the way that I have. I postponed the Bahrain race to the end of the season. We're pretending there was like a massive sandstorm that delayed cancelled the race, and it's been postponed to the end batch of Middle Eastern Grand Prix with Qatar and Abu Dhabi. So it's at the end. If it keeps breaking then as well, I'll just remove it entirely. So this might end up being a 23 race season. I forget how many we're up to now. 24 now, isn't it? So 23 race season. If I have to delete Bahrain, it seems to be able to load Saudi Arabia. So we're just going to move straight on to Saudi Arabia. So just a few things as we do our flying laps in Q1 here. Our second flying laps, I should say. We are, first and foremost, despite the fact this is an entirely second spec car, we have effectively had another week to build things. So I now have 2 side pods. So I've given them 1 each. That's everything brand new. Spec 2. We are still predicted 15th here. So it's not a strong track for us because we're still lacking in the areas that Saudi Arabia needs. We're much better in a lot of other tracks, typically around 10th or better. But Saudi Arabia is not great. Hungary is another bad one, but by then we'll have new stuff, I would hope. The other thing is, just because I didn't know what the problem was, when I was troubleshooting trying to get Bahrain to work, I did remove any enhanced graphic mods and things like that, so it might look a bit different. No idea how they're doing. Didn't really look. Slower first, better middles. Melanie up to 12th, Mick up to 12th as well. That's a nice buffer. There are people behind us doing laps. Both Audis are there. I wonder if this is a track they're not liking. If one of them was down there, I'd be worried. But the fact that both of them are down there makes me feel like they might not just be good here. They might be like us. Their strengths lie in other tracks. In fact, I'm pretty certain he's done. Ricardo wasn't done. He went to the top. But near the top anyway. Hamilton is out again. He should have a new engine now because the last one blew up last race. But it is both Alpines and Enzo Fittipaldi. And both Audis. I do love the start of this season, which is why I was really determined to make Bahrain work. And then, obviously, I didn't want to have to redo the whole thing. I mean, I suppose this aspect of it would be present regardless. The fact that every car seems to have a really good strength and weakness at the moment. So it's different cars are really good in different tracks right now, which is a nice bit of variety, which was sorely lacking last year, really. Mick's actually ended up coming out ahead of Maloney because of traffic in the pit lane, which isn't ideal because he's the one in danger. Maloney is inexplicably 5th. Ricciardo and Piastri, I imagine, are about to go ahead along with Verstappen and Russell. So 4 vehicles there. So, and then any of the others could still do something. But there's 4 vehicles pretty much guaranteed to go ahead here. But the bright lights of Saudi Arabia await us once again. In fact, is that Russell ahead? No, it's Aston Martin, I think, on a flyer by the looks of things, because they don't seem to be driving into him. So I think we've got to, I mean, if there is a tow at Saudi Arabia, we might be able to get one off it. I suspect there will be traffic because people seem to be coming out at utterly random times here in both sessions. Brand new tyres. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but come on. Absolutely ridiculous. That's the vehicle we had to get past. It moved out quite nicely. So there's 1 Haas on the flying lap. That Haas is done. I don't know which one's which. It's good news either way because it means either Hulkenberg or Porsche are done, and both are behind Maloney. It's better news if it's Hulkenberg that's done, because it means Mick could have a better chance of getting ahead. Mick's going slower anyway. Brand new tyres, Mick. How are you slower? Farcical. Absolutely farcical. Mick starts 15th. I mean, both went slower there, actually. Both went slower. I can't put it entirely on Mick, but Mick was, you know, out of the top 10. I thought that was about to be an utterly useless banker run, actually, because I thought Porsche had come out immediately in front of him as he started his flying lap and compromised him through the first couple of turns. But it's enough for 8th for now. Brand new tyres. Drogovic has a tow. This could be all right. Porsche 5th currently is wild, though. Oh, I just realised Ricciardo's out. He was 2nd in Q1. And Max, actually, for that matter. Q2 was wild. Hamilton out Q1. Max and Ricciardo out Q2. Piastri goes on pole for now. First one to cross the line, though, I think. Russell doesn't improve. And Maloney's not improving again. I don't know what it is. I don't know why this happens. It's farcical that he's not improving. He was slower and he had traffic. Older tyres, traffic. How is it possible that you have gone slower? Oh, no, sorry. He gained 200ths in the end. I suspect Bottas might be about to put us 9th. That is depressing. Well, I mean, we are 9th in a race that was predicted 15th, so no, actually, I'll take it. And, of course, crucially, we no longer get punished. This says 2-stop. The AI runs a 1-stop, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, obviously, I'd do it that way around if I was going to do it. Apparently, an aggressive medium-hard is the thing to do. Just going to put this out there. I can do a 5-push on the first one if I come in earlier.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action. Amidst the noise and fanfare of the occasion, a crucial moment now to concentrate.
They've done well to secure a P9 start, and they'll be keen to convert that into some points.
So let's see what today has in store, shall we? We're now moments away from this, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
I always love, by the way, whenever it's in the pit wall or pit boxes or in the pits themselves, the engineers' computers always have like this position tracker on it that's like 2/3 of the way through the race, even though it's before the race. Like, I love the attention to detail, but it's wrong. Mixed up to 14th. I don't know if people have penalties or not, but mixed up to 14th. I don't think I can really push mixed softs too much. And he does have Max Verstappen all over the back of him, which I don't appreciate, Max. Wait your turn. Did Djokovic have a penalty, or has he had a terrible start? Because he's down to 12th already. What tyres is he on? Mediums? Nabbed by 2 soft runners, maybe? The good news is he doesn't never need to come off Zane's tyres, because they'll make it. However, his won't. I'm anticipating an incident, so I'm not really going to come off the fuel early. We've taken 3 out of a maximum 7, so it is one of those ones where we go round down. Wasn't paying attention below, who has taken Bottas, who himself I think was having a sniffy Tsunoda, and he catches him napping. Tsunoda next though on a hard tyre, I did note, staring at the back of that Visa. I know other people have replaced RB with, I think, Porsche as an option. I think there might be more than one option. I don't know who Andretti replaced. Like, there's people who create alternative mods for a bunch of teams. RB's the usual one. I think it's because they're kind of a secondary team in the first place. People think they're the least removable. But I like the existence of RB as the junior team, essentially. I like the concept of a junior team, almost like using Williams and using Haas as more bona fide junior teams for the other two. Helmic's made an overtake as well. On who? Sorry, Maloney got someone there as well, I think. Oh, I just realised we're overtaking both RBs at the same time as we're talking about RB. Yeah, that's done. Now let Max overtake you. I might just come off the tyres to cool them down, and then I'll push them again from there. Yeah, we saw overtake Tsunoda. But Maloney is now on the back of Porsche, who himself has just been taken by... There he is holding on to Russell. I think we have a tyre disadvantage here. I think they're all on softs ahead. They are indeed. Hamilton has a mechanical fault again. How are you doing in regards to holding on to a medium running Djokovic? In DRS range, which is the important thing. I mean, there's another overtake here to pay attention to, Maloney on Porsche. I think that's exactly the same thing. Porsche gets out of sorts and Maloney capitalises. Even Tsunoda's having a look. But I think Mick did exactly the same thing. This isn't purely DRS. Now, this was slightly different. This was onto the main straight, but maybe it is. Maybe it was DRS based. We do have an excellent DRS, of course. We also now have excellent tyre preservation and engine cooling compared to other people. Our engine cooling is now good again, so pushing the engine is perfectly fine, really. He says with that one's overheated. We've gone from like the worst to third with the side pods. And straight back on the attack, Zane. I called them down, but not for long. Oh, he's taken Russell there for good measure. Main straight? Not even main straight. That's sector 1, isn't it? No, sector 3. That is sector 3. I think that's the end of DRS, isn't it? Hairpin at the end. This is going to be tricky to hold on to. Russell's going to be able to fight him back all the time. I think Mick in a train is overheating his engine a little bit, so I might as well try and recover with him. Maloney and Russell are going to have a ding-dong here because, well, now Russell's got an engine problem that actually he's going the other way. Mick's got his engine temperature down, but he's very much in a cluster fight here. That is Tsunoda, who's dropped off on his hards. 6 seconds now behind Ricciardo even, who has got his way up to 8th. Bottas Magnussen in 11th, who we're yet to claim ourselves. Max is still stuck in 14th. He can't get through. We recovered a little bit of fuel there. We got a kilogram back at least in cooling the engine down in the process. Mick gets Kevin, but don't quite have the pace to... Although this time we have gotten a DRS of Tsunoda. And we have indeed got DRS. Russell's engine problem has forced him down to 7th, actually. Maloney is comfortably 5th right now. Verstappen pits early. 2-stop from Verstappen? What's he gone on to? New mediums. Hamilton's fault gets worse. Russell's fault gets worse. Both Mercedes in the wars right now. No, there's a bit of a gap to Porsche. I might just use that. Now mixed softs are going off. Holding on to Tsunoda's probably the play. Bunch of pitters. No incidents is the problem, so that's why I'm having to destroy those tyres on the last lap here. I don't think Mick can make his pit stop here. I'll come off the fuel on Mick just because I need to make sure these tyres make it. Quick pit stop for Maloney. 2.1. 2.2 almost. Comes in behind Hulkenberg. Comes out ahead of Ricciardo though still, which is nice, but not for long, I'd imagine. But no more stops for Zane. Just while you get these up to temperature again, I'll let you use the fuel. Go onto those mediums, Mick. You're going to be in a bit of pain for a little smidge here. I say a smidge, 1 lap. But you actually have your teammate behind you now. And you don't hold him up and give him DRS. That's actually perfectly timed if we were trying to do that. He's going to come out way back then, but he's going to be on a medium. And he's going to not stop again. Goes out an 18th, which does give a payout. So fingers crossed he's only forwards from here. He does have 20% better tyres than the fair few of those. So if they're one-stopping, that's not going to happen. Tsunoda might be one-stopping. Russell might be trying it. Porsche might be trying it with those tyres. They only came in like 1 lap earlier. Hulkenberg and Drogovic yet to pit of mediums. Obviously not slamming those. But only is back into 8th. 2 people to pit from in front of him, of course. So that is effectively net 6th. Ricciardo wasn't behind him. If he was behind him, he's absolutely torn through the field there. I may have been seeing Verstappen. I might have been seeing red rather than orange. I don't know what happened there. But he's miles ahead. Am I going crazy or was he just torn through those drivers? 134.6. Maloney's doing a 136.1. He is 1.5 seconds faster, so he might have been. Maloney caught Hulkenberg before Verstappen caught Maloney, which is helpful. They're still not pitted. I figured they were one-stopping medium hard, but that's Maloney through. And not Verstappen, crucially. Come on, Mick, what are you doing? You're fighting Sargent. Why? Drive away, Mick. Mick doesn't have quite enough to get past get it out of their DRSs, which is slightly annoying. Hulkenberg pits and comes out 20th. He's overheating his engine again, is Mick, so we only got clear of Porsche and Verstappen again for whatever reason. I don't know why this happened, but got a bit of a gap again. I might need to start conserving with them. There are 20 laps to go, just to be safe. We've not had an incident, which is an issue. Sainz pits for a second time. That's not an issue for them. Comes back out 4th. Stroll pits for the second time. Comes out 3rd. He's having a blinding time. Ricciardo, Verstappen, Albon, Gasly, for sure, all need to pit again. Mick gets Russell, who's definitely wounded now. 4th to 16th. Leclerc's on 137.4 and pits, I think. Oh no, he can't have pitted. Oh no, he's just pitted. That's right. Yeah. Ricciardo is 11 seconds ahead of Maloney and needs to pit. I think we're going to end up behind Ricciardo. Definitely going to end up behind Leclerc, who's pitted onto fresh softs, but Porsche's on mediums, as is Tsunoda. They're going to the end on both of those. I think we've got definitely enough for Bottas, definitely enough for Tsunoda. Porsche's obviously with us, but those mediums are going to be worse than the hards as time goes by. Makes up to 14th now and dragging Russell with him. Verstappen's pitted again and come out behind, so he'll come back through. Oh, Mick's actually neutral on fuel as well. Don't need to conserve that anymore. Hauger just did fastest lap. Hamilton's retired. Or Hamilton not having a fun time of things of late. But speaking of fun, Leclerc's through Maloney and driven away. As we predicted, Mick now has Gasly in his sights. Still dragging Russell along though. He might be wounded, but not wounded enough to retire, evidently, and not wounded enough to fall off the back of our car. How close we've been lapped. Can't seem to drop Gasly, even though he just pitted. Russell is more than a second behind. If we can keep that and drag that out a bit more, that might actually... Right, okay. Albon puncture, I think, might be the red flag. No, it can't be the red flag. It's Pierre Gasly that's caused the red flag. Ah, yes, I see why that might be a problem. Thank you for 21st place, Pierre. Crashing out. Last on track. Probably shout out to whoever did these. Last on track. I'm not going to lie, this has worked out quite well. We have 6 laps remaining. I don't know what it's comparing against. It's comparing against our original tyre, so... A medium tyre will be 1.2 seconds faster. A soft tyre, which has been used a little bit, will be 1.5 seconds faster. So we will put on a used soft with both vehicles. They've only got to do 6 laps. Maybe even 5. I don't know what that counts as. This does work out quite after recovering all that fuel as well. That was literally all that we took out. Just obviously have to pause so I can get everything back in again. Mick starts 13th, which is better than when he started the actual race in. I don't think anybody's going to have a fresh soft. No, so we're all kind of running... Oh, no, sorry. Hulkenberg and Drogovic and Verstappen all had fresh softs, as did Tsunoda somehow. I don't know how Tsunoda's managed to get a fresh soft. He was in Q3. Somehow he managed to get to Q3 without using another soft. Actually, a bunch of the back had fresh ones as well. I've no idea how Tsunoda has a fresh soft. Maybe they used harder compounds in practice. Maybe he just had more softs to begin with. I don't know what's happened. But Mick's trying to take Drogovic. That is 11th. He does get him. We'll burn the fuel. We do have good engine cooling, so that might work out. Meanwhile, Maloney seems to be more likely to take Leclerc than Porsche is to get him. Just bring Ricciardo back into play fully, though. And it's probably going to put Russell at the back of the entire grid by the time this race is over. Sorry, Maloney is 4th. Both drivers fighting with a Ferrari here. Maloney goes... I mean, that's not going to stick. DRS is going to activate for 5 laps here, but just want to... I don't know if I can see what happens with... Okay, so a 5 is perfectly fine. Yeah, five will still have like 50-60% by the end of this race. So that's not going to be a problem. We can just go completely ham on the remaining 5 laps. Save a little bit of ERS for final lap, and then other than that, Maloney's fighting Leclerc, and Mick is fighting Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, and Bottas for 9th, effectively. Although he is struggling to hold on to Hülkenberg, but I think our DRS is working wonders here. Maybe the Haas has the worst DRS, because DRS alone seemingly has got us Hülkenberg there almost. Maloney has got Leclerc back again. Sorry, actually, are they in a train for the lead here? They are in a train for the lead here. There's only 2 more laps. He is 5th in this train, but he isn't training for the lead. Mick, meanwhile, come on. Yeah, I need you to make positions. Okay, so final lap. We have 25% in the tank. Mick had a little bit more, so Mick can deploy from here. Maloney can deploy from there. And now it's all about seeing what we can do. Although Bottas has been dropped by Tsunoda, Mick's not going to get a point here. He's got to get through 2 vehicles. I thought they had more tyres left, but they have absolutely shredded them. Similarly, Maloney just holds on for 5th. I'll take a 5th. Can Mick get Bottas on the line? He does get Bottas on the line, but it's still an 11th. Well, double points for Haas, though. Keeps that fight interesting. Just go up 4 places all told to 5th. Mick goes up 4 places as well to 11th, so it's not a bad showing considering the qualifying. It does go down a place because Charles Leclerc exists and is actually performing now. Carlos gets ahead of his teammate, though, with that victory. Carlos won that. Actually, forgot to even mention that. Carlos Piastri Stroll. We stay 4th with 51 points. Nice, healthy 4th. As Mercedes gets no points again. Haas gets 6th. Sorry, Haas gets 7th with 6 points. And RB getting another point. So still 2 pointless teams. Audi's good start is slowly slipping away, actually. There we are then, though. We are safely through a 3rd race. Yeah, medium speed was the pro there. And that's the thing we are worst in by a margin. I was also using old engine parts. I forgot to swap them to a fresh one for that particular race. So that's probably why we didn't do quite as well as we should have. Well, we do have 3rd spec underfloor and 3rd spec suspension coming in 6 days. I'm really hoping to focus on something that does medium speed in particular next. I don't believe there's any hours being put into this one, and I'm not quite sure why I didn't use all engineers. But they come in on the ATR period opening next week. So that I'll start them going for Miami next, which is now round 5. But the good news is the save lives on. I was genuinely worried it was broken, irreparably broken, essentially. But we may have to delete Bahrain entirely. I don't know if it's just something within the Bahrain world that wouldn't load properly for whatever reason. But for the time being, at the very least, the save continues. No panic there. I need to make sure I pay attention when we get to May the 1st to see if that money comes in as it should do as well. Need to remember that. But if you enjoyed this episode, as all over the place it may have been in the end, but if you enjoyed this nonetheless, do like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, ta-ra.